Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the old family farm here in Farming Simulator 19 with me, CWATTYESO, and of course Delores Flofflebotham, the owner of the old family farm, having inherited it when her grandpa passed away. As I mentioned at the end of the last video, I would start this video by completing the harvest on that field over there, which, well, it was, as I predicted, just 2 passes. I got 3,353 litres of wheat off of it. Hardly seems worth it, but hey ho, that's what we got. So we'll tip that into the silo. Not worth selling. Going on a trip for 3,000 litres of wheat to sell. And then we'll park that up, and then we're going to have a quick check of the animals, because I've not checked on them today in game. I did do a little bit of work off camera between the last video and this video in terms of starting to do a bit of terrain sculpting and terraforming on that area of the field over there in front of me to prepare for when we ultimately increase the length of that field. I'll just have a quick run over and show you. I tried to smooth out the big lumps that were in it, which I kind of managed to do, so hopefully we shouldn't have any problems seeding it. I did have to kind of flatten some of this area over here, so there is a bit of glitchiness with trees, which will hopefully get sorted out next time I borrow a Brooks, Lisa Brooks, to come and chop some of these trees down, because this one's going to have to go, and this one here is going to have to go, unfortunately, for me to extend this field how I want to extend it. Unfortunately, as I was terraforming and flattening and smoothing, I did kind of do my usual and take a few little nibbles out of the field. So for a little while we are going to have slightly reduced crops off of this field, because I've kind of nobbled it. But as I say, the next time it requires ploughing, we are going to extend it out that way and just make it a slightly bigger rectangle, which should help us make a bit more profitability. So let's have a look then. Don't need that, we need to be in here. Right, so everything's pretty much good to go. I just need to collect the straw as well. So animals, chickens are doing alright, horses are still okay. I did ride them as well off camera, so they're all well ridden, and they're slowly going up in value. What I need to do then is get the, I need the John Deere, because I need to collect that straw. And then we can move on to doing the ploughing and stuff. Not the ploughing, the cultivating, power harrowing, cultivating type stuff, the important work. And that's where my new fancy GPS, I have, as I say, in the last video I did buy the GPS and fit to this tractor as well. So we've got it on both the John Deeres. I haven't yet done it to the harvester. I will probably do it before the next harvest. I'm not going to do it just now, because again it's 15 grand that we don't really want to be spending and not using straight away. So we'll go pick up the 2 bits of straw. Again, it's hardly worth doing it, but we do need it picked up and out of the way. And this field as well I'm going to extend out. I've decided I'm going to bring it forward, make it a long narrow field, and that'll give us some more planting space, because I believe it'll be a while before we can buy any of the other fields on the map, because they're all quite expensive. Saying that, what is the cost of the fields? See, I've got to buy that whole land, which is 114 grand to get 2 fields. That's 75 grand to get one. That one's probably not so bad. But I think they've got potatoes or sugar beets or something that's planted on that at the minute. So I'll wait for them again. Much like in the Estancia series, I don't believe in cheating at the game by buying a field with crop on it that's ready to harvest, harvesting the crop and selling it, and basically profiteering off another farmer's work. You know, I'm dead against the whole field flipping concept in the game, and I'm still not happy that Giants haven't patched or fixed that to stop people from doing it. But alas, I'm sure they'll get round to it at some point. I laugh, seeing as they don't fix half the freaking things that are broken in this game. Yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed because there was recently on the Giants forums there was a mod post. Someone posted a bug to do with in the Mod Hub Bugs forum about Estancia Lapacho, which obviously I have a lot of experience playing on now, as I did it in my Let's Play series, my first FS19 series here on YouTube. You can go and watch those videos. You can find those on my channel. There is a playlist of all 59 episodes, so you can enjoy many hours of fun watching that if you're liking this series. But one of the things obviously I discovered on the Estancia Lapacho map was how bad it was for basically Giants being lazy and using the palm trees and sinking them into the ground to basically take the place of actual real like bushes and foliage, which caused lots of issues for workers that would obviously detect them as trees and try to avoid them. And other things. So it became an issue, and trying to farm them, trying to clear them out of the land was a nightmare. If you had a chainsaw, you had to kind of run around with it, pointing it at the ground to see if you could find the bit to cut the tree. And sometimes, even though you'd remove the leafy bits that were sticking up above the ground, what you didn't realise was there was still a stump below the ground, and you'd end up in a situation whereby again, you'd terraform a bit of land, you'd plough a field, you'd set a worker off to seed it or cultivate it or fertilise it or whatever, and they'd miss a great huge section, avoiding the tree stump that's below ground level and out the way. And that got really annoying, and a lot of people have posted basically saying, look, Giants, you need to fix this, you need to get rid of these stupid trees. And the issue with these trees these fake trees and Giants have basically turned around and said, yeah, we're aware of the issue in their mod post. Yeah, we're aware of the issue, but we have we have no plans or desire to fix it. It's like, yeah, we accept that it's broken, but we're not going to do anything about it. Right, I'm going to use GPS, seeing as we have it fitted on our tractor. So I've just set my course up, and I've set the tool width so it knows exactly how far we've got to go. And drop that cultivator down, the Power Harrow, and now I can drive perfectly straight lines. Look at that. Never again will I go off course with the advantage and technology of GPS. And you just line up, activate it, and then the tractor kind of steers itself. All I have to be responsible for is lifting up and dropping down the tool, and obviously shifting it over onto the next lane after we reach the end of the field. So there we go. I can now turn it round, get it lined up, activate the GPS. It will now take over the basic steering of keeping it on this line, and I just follow. I just gun the accelerator and get ready to lift the tool up once we reach the end of the field. Wonderful addition to the game, GPS, the GPS mod. Feel sorry for the console players that obviously don't get to have GPS in their farming simulator experience. It's such a shame. It was such a great mod to have in FS19. I loved it a lot in farming sim. Couldn't play, literally could not play the game without GPS mod in FS17. Have been able to play without it in Farming Sim 19, but now it's available, and now it's in development, and it's in beta, and it's in testing, and it's been worked on, and it's been improved all the time. I don't think I will ever play without it. I'm not sure if I did that right then. So that's basically my thinking. Right, I'm going to continue straight across because I'm going to do the edge of this field as well. What I'm thinking of possibly doing, I know this might sound a little bit crazy, I might take out this first hedge, bit of hedge down this right hand side of this field, and basically just extending this field by 1 plough width. Because again, in a situation like the last video where I got barley sown on both fields, I'll be able to continue straight down with the harvester and do both fields at the same time. We can literally power harrow these fields fairly quickly. I might look, because we have got 78,000. I know I didn't really want to spend up the money because we are trying to keep a little bit back for emergencies, but it does seem a bit silly having had a 4-metre power harrow that we don't have a 4-metre seeder. To make life a bit easier for Delores. What I love about this is I can just reverse and it'll steer me back, and then I can drop it down again. So this is the view Delores sees. Obviously projecting the course path onto the field in front of her. But look, no hands. It drives itself. So literally I can just drive. Whereas I do have to occasionally look forward to obviously pick my next lane. But once we've done that, I can literally just go in here. I can turn around, look out the back window. Do you know what I ought to do? The great thing about Stevie's John Deere mods is when you press the right stick, it automatically looks out the back for you. So I can actually switch between the views just by clicking the button. It automatically gives me the rear view. There's the end of the field, come on. There it is. So again, we can turn it round. I'm going to drive through the bushes. I'm thinking the trees and bushes may eventually go. As much as they look pretty, and they do look nice as decorations, they are a bit impractical for work in the field. Because they do kind of make visibility a bit difficult. Especially if you're trying to stay in first person view. So we can get these fields power harrowed and then get them reseeded. Probably for the next crop I'll probably do, I'll look at the prices, but I imagine I'll do probably a lot of soybeans, because they make you the most money, and we need to make money. Because I still need one more tractor, don't I? I need to buy one tractor which has a front PTO. And then we've got options then. We can do other things. We can do mowing and all sorts then, which can give us a few more tasks and that on the farm. But without a front PTO or a front linkage, we are kind of stuck. We're kind of snookered. And it's a shame that the 6R doesn't have, the 6M, sorry, doesn't have a PTO. The 6R does, which is a slightly bigger tractor. So we'll have to see. As I say, I might replace Grandad's Fiat with something a little bit more practical. There's a couple of things in the game, a couple of mod hub mods that have come out, some tractors which might make a good replacement for it. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have a look actually in a second. I'll pull up the store. So yeah, let's go in medium tractor. Let's have a look. Maybe the Deutschfahr could be one of the things we add. It has front linkage. Like I say, we like the Warrior. Oh, lovely black. Can't get skinny wheels on it. So maybe it wasn't that. Is it one of these then? Might be this one. You can get skinny wheels on that, which would be good. And it does have the front PTO. Unfortunately, it only has 143 horsepower, so it's a little bit less powerful than the Fiat. It's not going to be able to operate a Brooks all-in-one, but it would operate a mower for us, wouldn't it? And the tedder. So we could definitely get something along these lines, like another cat. That only requires 70 horsepower, you know, or the Lely Splendissimo thingy, my Bobby Doodah. We can have a look, can't we? So those are the sort of things I'm considering going forward at this point in time. As I say, it's a shame that the John Deere 6, the 6M, doesn't have a front PTO. The 6R does, but then the 6R doesn't allow you to fit skinny wheels, as far as I remember. Let's just check that. Make sure I'm quoting the right things, because somebody will tell me off if I don't get my facts right. Looks like you can't get skinny wheels on the 6R. What about Stevie's? No. That is such a shame. I mean, we can get 300 horsepower, which is plenty. We could have a front loader on that. And a PTO. But we can't get skinny wheels. Unless I get it on... This tractor will let me have... It lets me have dual skinnies. Okay. There's a chance then we might go through a 6R then. This particular mod lets you have skinny wheels. Ooh. That's nice. We might put that on our wish list then. Keeping the tractors all medium sized. I think I missed a bit and I have to go back. It took too long for that to drop down, and I took off at a rate of 90 billion miles an hour. There. Can't really afford to be missing bits, Delores. Especially as I've nibbled off some of the opposite field. As I say, we'll get the cultivating done. And we'll fertilise spray. We'll get that done as well. With our sprayer, which obviously now we're using the GPS. Oh, have I got... I don't know if I've equipped it with GPS or not. When I bought it, did I? Can't remember whether I did or did not rig it up with GPS. If I didn't, I probably will. Because for fertilising, lime spreading, and spraying, in fact actually what I'll do is I'll probably dry fertilise. That makes more sense than liquid fertilising when you haven't got any crop. So I can get the spreader out the barn, out the storage barn, empty the lime out like I do the fertiliser sprayers, fill it up with solid fert, and then I can come and do solid fertiliser spreading, can't I? Which, if I think about it, is probably more economical than liquid spraying. I think we cover more area with the solid fertiliser as well. I think it's got a slight... No, I don't think it's got a wider working... It hasn't got... No, it hasn't got a wider working width, has it? But it doesn't use as much fertiliser as a sprayer does. Sprayers always use more contents. They have a higher litres per minute dispensing rate than solid fertilisers. Spreaders, again, there was a whole big scientific test done during the Estancia series. Lots of people arguing about, you know, how sprayers and fertilisers work in the game, the way Giants have coded it. And basically the rule of thumb was get the widest possible working width spreader and sprayers you can as soon as you can in game, because they have the exact same dispensing rate as the smaller spreaders. So, but they cover more of an area, so you actually use less fertiliser with those to do the same field. because they cover more of it, because they cover more area in the same amount of time, they use less fertiliser and less spray. And there are people who will argue and say that that's not correct, but just look how the game is programmed, and you will see that to be the case. It's the total opposite of seed usage, where seed usage is calculated by the area, so it doesn't matter what size seeder you use, it will use the same amount of seed on a field. So you'll use the same amount of seed with a 3 metre seeder as you would with an 18 metre seeder. But fertiliser, spray, herbicide, manure, slurry, that's all done on a different scale. That isn't done on area, that's done on dispensing rate, flow rate, litres per second. And basically every one of those machines has the exact same flow rate of a kind. So all fertiliser spreaders have the same flow rate. I've turned the power thingy off. Have the same flow rate. All sprayers have the same flow rate. All the manure spreaders have the same flow rate. And basically that's... So when it comes to those types of equipment, you want the widest working width you can, and you'll save money in the long run because you'll be covering more field and using less contents. Kept hearing a whistling sound and I wondered what it was. It's the cat next to me snoring. She's asleep and she's snoring. She whistles. So again, lock in the GPS, lower the power harrowing. Again, I've took off like a rocket and forgot to drop the tool. but at least we've not missed any bits this time. By using the GPS, we're a lot more accurate with our cultivating. At the moment though, there's no way of rotating the track, so once I've programmed in a course like this, there is no way for me to be able to alter that course. In obviously Farming Sim 17 you could rotate the course 90 degrees, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, whatever you wanted. The only thing this mod currently lets you do is shift a course left or right slightly if it's not quite lined up where you want it on a field, maybe a field edge. But yeah, if I wanted to work the field left to right or east to west or whatever, then I can't do it. I'd have to basically reprogram a new course. So it's worth looking at where your how your fields are laid out and trying to set a course up that's not going to need you to edit it too much and change it. For example, field 5 obviously is a different, and I'd have to create a different course for field 5 because it runs obviously horizontally, whereas most of the other fields all run vertically. So like in a minute I can go over to field 2 and I'll still be able to use the program I've set up, the course that I've plotted, the points that I've plotted to do that field, because it's perfectly the same. But field 5 would require me to program in a new course with the GPS, which, you know, we can do. That's not a problem. Delores can do that. She's becoming very capable on all things farming. Like I say, we're going to have a go at this field as well. We're going to get this field properly ploughed out, because as much as I like wild grass, I think if we plant proper actual grass, we'll get a better shake of the stick, if you like. We'll get more of a yield when we come to do like hay and grass bales and and silage and stuff. If we're going to do TMR, guess who forgot to activate the GPS? Me. Let's go back to the beginning of the row, because I took off like an idiot again. Forgot to set the GPS. And we want to make sure we get all the field. The good thing is this Power Harrow is a lot better than a standard traditional cultivator. I do have a standard for me, a drag along cultivator. I don't really use it that much at the minute. I will probably use that in conjunction with the plough, or I can use it with this, can't I? As well, the plough, and basically the plough will work in conjunction with this or the standard drag along cultivator. I could use both at the same time. So in a situation where when we get going and we do need to plough fields, I can actually plough and cultivate at the same time. So it's not like I have to plough the field and then go over it again with the cultivator. I can do it with both, do both at the same time. I believe the John Deeres are powerful enough to do that. The two that I've got. The case definitely was, but the case was more powerful than these, which is kind of the issue, really, wasn't it? It was a case of I needed the front loader attachment on a tractor, but we ended up sacrificing the case with horsepower to get a John Deere with a front loader. So in one hand we gained, and in the other we lost. So we'll have to see. Like I say, we do want to get a machine with a front PTO at some point. See, that's where a 6R would come in very useful, because that would definitely have the power. To do what we need. I could almost see myself maybe selling this tractor and getting a 6R, because at least then we'll have the front PTO. Keep the other one because it's got the front loader, and we could get a 6R, which would obviously have 300 horsepower, so would be able to power, definitely power the Brooks. It'll power mowers, it'll power the Brooks, it will deal with anything we throw at it basically, and it'll definitely be able to cope with a plough and cultivator being pulled at the same time. So that's a possibility of consideration for us. It all depends how we want to expand the farm, really, because obviously at some point we are going to want to start getting some more fields under our belt. We want to get ownership of field 1, field 8, and those other couple down that side, whatever they are, 2 and 11, 12 is it? I can't remember. 5? No, I've got 5. I've got might be 9. Fields 1 and 9, isn't it? 9 and 12, maybe? I can't remember. I'll have to check the map. I'm guessing. 4. 1, 4 and 9, I do believe. Am I right? 1, 4 and 9. Yes. I just suddenly worked it out. Because we own field 3. I was like, I haven't seen field 4. We own field 3 and 5. There's a number that comes between those, and that would be field 4. So 1, 4 and 9 and 8. So there's 4 more fields that we want to basically add to Dolores's ownership at some point. And that's obviously the field over here is field 8, and then we'd have access to the pig pen as well, which would be useful. We could then start doing piggies, looking after piggies, breeding piggies. And piggies would give us slurry and manure, which we could then use on the fields as fertiliser substitute, because there's no BGA on this map, remember, which would then mean I no longer have to buy and use fertiliser. I would save money on fertiliser, solid fertiliser. I would still need to spray crops when they're growing, but I would save quite a bit of money in the long run by being able to use natural materials to fertilise our crops. Lined up and drop the power harrow down. This course has actually worked out really well. I've plotted. I don't know if they've fixed the bug yet in the GPS mod. There was a bug where basically if you tried to save a course or points that you'd plotted. That it would lock the game up. The game would lock up and you'd have to Alt F4 out of it. It would crash. I don't know whether that's been fixed yet or not. I might be tempted to save the game and try it, because this course is actually very useful, and being able to recall it, because I haven't had to do any like lane shifting or line shifting. I could actually probably go all the way across thinking about it. I might be able to kill two birds with one stone. Right, we'll whiz to the end. So I can actually work both ways. So actually, a north-south headed course can do all the fields I've got. I like that. It's a little bit unrealistic that I just drive straight through the hedge here and then on to the next field, but it's alright. We're not hurting anybody, are we? It's only a game at the end of the day. It's not real life. It's only a bit of fun. And those people that take it far too seriously and take my comments about things and criticisms of things far too seriously. We're Power Harrowed. We're Power Harrowing. It's great that we could turn these fields around so quickly. I prefer this to the as I say, the manual drag-along cultivator, because it being propelled, you don't really sacrifice any speed. It does make it a bit easier work for the tractor. I may end up joining these two fields together actually because of how easy it is to work this. Then I wouldn't necessarily need to make it that field 5 any longer. I could actually create another area of grass, couldn't I then? Because we'll gain a decent bit of land in here, which will give us a fair bit of extra additional crop, wouldn't it?
Right, switch that off. Switch that off. Switch engine off. Right, let's make a save before I try this. There we go. So let's go for north-south. I think that worked. I think that actually worked. I think it actually saved it. Pretty cool. So he has fixed the crash issue. That's handy to know. We need to wash this before we put it away.
And then I'm going to have Dolores is going to have an early lunch, and then when she comes back in the next video, we'll be getting on to doing some fertiliser spraying and spreading and seeding. We may look at getting the new seeder. So we'll put the Power Harrow away, and then we'll go for an early lunch. She's had a good morning's work thus far. Balls are a little bit narrow. We eventually get it in. There we go. You know what, seeing as I'm here and we're going to be solid 13 anyway in the next episode, I might as well do it with this. We ain't going to destroy any crops, are we? We've got a little bit of lime, which I can unload. I would need to run to the store and buy some, which again we will do after lunch and at the beginning of the next episode. So anyway, for now, from me, it's goodbye. From Dolores, it's goodbye, and thank you for watching. We hope you'll leave and click the like button on the video. We also hope you'll leave any questions, comments, suggestions or feedback in the section down below. And if you're not already doing so, we hope you'll press the subscribe button. So from me, it's goodbye, and I'll see you all again very soon with some more video content.